Paul, something funny happened this morning. I opened my fridge, saw one tiny piece of cake, and immediately thought, my brother definitely ate the rest.
That's such a sibling moment. You don't even need evidence. You just know.
Exactly. And it made me think about family and how they always leave fingerprints on your life. Sometimes literally, like cake fingerprints.
Listeners, be honest. Do you also have that one family member who eats your food and pretends nothing happened?
I'm sure they do. Families are full of little stories like that. Actually, Paul, I realized something today. I talk about my family a lot, but I've never really introduced them properly.
Wait, really? I know your cat better than your family. Tell me, who's the first person in your family you want to introduce?
My mom. She's the calm center of everything. You know those people who smile even when they're tired? She's like that.
She sounds lovely. What's your relationship like with her?
Warm, gentle. She listens more than she talks. When I was young, every time I felt scared or stressed, she would say, "Small steps still move you forward." It became one of my life anchor sentences.
That's beautiful and very true. Listeners, say it with us. Small steps still move you forward. Feels good, right?
My dad is different. He's funny without trying to be funny. He'll say something serious and it just sounds hilarious.
Like what?
Last week, he said, "I'm not getting old, I'm just becoming classic."
I love him already. What about your family, Paul? You always talk about your cousin, the one who gives strange advice.
Oh, yes, my cousin Sam. If I say, "I'm tired," he'll answer, "Drink water." If I say, "I'm sad," he'll answer, "Drink water." He thinks water is the answer to everything.
I mean, he's not wrong.
True, but let me introduce my family a bit. My mom is the strong one, the type who wakes up early, finishes 5 tasks before I'm even awake, and still asks if I need help. My dad is quiet, but observant. He doesn't talk much, but when he does, it's always something meaningful.
It's interesting how every family member plays a different role in your life. Supporter, teacher, comedian, troublemaker.
And sometimes, all in one person.
Exactly. You know, yesterday I looked at an old photo of my family. My brother was making the strangest face, and I suddenly remembered a family dinner from years ago.
Hold on, that sounds like a story. Tell me about that dinner. I will, but not yet.
Oh, come on, Emily. You can't do that to me.
I can and I will. First, I want to ask you something. When you think of your family, what's the first feeling that comes to your mind?
Honestly, comfort and chaos. Family is the only place where I can be completely myself, even the messy parts.
That's so true. Listeners, what about you? When you think of your family, what emotion appears first? Say the word aloud. Don't worry, nobody's judging.
And if the emotion is complicated, that's okay too. Family relationships aren't always simple. Some people feel close, some feel distant, some feel both at the same time.
Yes, and it's important to talk about it gently. For example, "I'm close to my sister," or "I don't talk to my uncle often," or "I get along well with my parents." All simple ways to describe relationships.
My favorite phrase is, "We understand each other." It feels warm, honest, human.
I love that too. And now, since you asked earlier, should I tell you about that family dinner?
Yes, I've been waiting.
Okay, so it was a rainy Sunday, the kind of rain that makes you want to stay home forever. My mom cooked a big pot of soup, my dad was humming an old song, and my brother,
Let me guess, did he eat half the food before dinner officially started?
you know him too well. But something unexpected happened that night, something I still think about today.
What happened?
I'll tell you after we talk about planning visits to relatives.
Emily, you're creating suspense like a Netflix series.
Well, family stories deserve a little suspense.
So, speaking of relatives, do you ever visit them on weekends?
Oh, yes. Not every weekend, but sometimes I feel this small pull in my heart, like a soft reminder saying, go visit them.
I know that feeling. It's like your mind suddenly says, hey, your aunt hasn't seen you in months. Don't be lazy.
Exactly. Last month, I visited my aunt. She lives 1 hour away, and the bus always smells like warm bread because it passes a bakery. That smell makes the trip feel comforting somehow.
Warm bread is a memory machine. It brings you back to childhood without asking permission.
So true. Anyway, when I arrived, my aunt opened the door and said, Emily, you look tired. Come eat something. That's the universal language of relatives. They feed you before they ask anything.
Yes, my grandma used to say, eat first, then we talk.
Listeners, how about you? Do your relatives also try to feed you the moment you arrive?
Mine absolutely do. And speaking of relatives, I met someone recently, someone I hadn't seen for many years.
Who?
My uncle. I saw him at a train station. I almost walked past him because he looked older, softer, like time had washed over him a few times.
How did it feel?
Strange at first. There was this moment where we just looked at each other, like we were trying to match the person in front of us with the person we remembered.
That sounds emotional.
It was, but then he smiled, the same smile from years ago, and suddenly the distance disappeared. We talked for 20 minutes, standing near a vending machine, sharing stories like no time had passed.
That's the magic of family. Even after years, the connection stays somewhere inside you.
Yeah, and he said something beautiful. You don't lose family, you just meet them again at different moments of life.
That's going into my notebook. Listeners, repeat it with us if you want. You meet family again at different moments of life. It feels so true, doesn't it?
It does. But let me ask you, Emily, when was the last time you met a relative after many years?
2 years ago, I met my cousin at a cafe. We hadn't seen each other since high school. When she walked in, she looked almost the same, but at the same time, completely different.
What do you mean?
I mean, her face was familiar, but her energy grew up. It felt like meeting a new person inside the old person I remembered.
I love that description.
We talked for hours, and during that talk, she told me something I'll never forget. She said, I used to think you were stronger than me. Now I know we were just strong in different ways.
Wow, that hits deep.
It did. And that day, I learned something about family. Everyone grows, just not at the same speed and not in the same direction.
That's another anchor sentence right there. Everyone grows at their own speed.
Exactly. And speaking of growth, let me tell you a small story from last week. My younger brother called me at 11 p.m. When you get a call at 11 p.m., you always think something serious happened.
Oh no, what was wrong?
He said, Emily, my favorite sweater has a hole. Can you fix it?
That's adorable.
He sounded so dramatic, like the world was ending because of one tiny hole.
Did you fix it?
Of course, it took 5 minutes, but he said, you saved my life.
Classic younger brother behavior. Small problem, maximum emotion.
Yes, and these small moments, helping with homework, fixing a sweater, listening to someone's bad day, they build the quiet love inside a family.
Quiet love is powerful. Sometimes you don't even notice it's there until someone needs you.
Exactly. And you know what? Helping someone in your family is also helping yourself because it reminds you that you matter to someone.
That's a beautiful thought. Listeners, have you helped a family member recently? Something small, something simple? Take a moment and think about it.
And if you haven't, maybe this week is a good time to do one small, kind thing. Small actions still make a big difference.
Speaking of small actions, didn't you say something unexpected happened during that rainy Sunday family dinner?
I did, and it connects to a memory I discovered while shopping for a gift last month.
Oh no, another loop?
Yes, and this one is worth waiting for.
So, this new curiosity loop, You said something about shopping for a gift, right? I'm already curious. What happened?
Okay, so last month I wanted to buy a birthday gift for my mom. Simple idea, but somehow it turned into an emotional adventure.
I love emotional adventures. Continue.
I went to this cute little shop near my street, the kind with warm lights and soft music that makes you feel nostalgic for no reason. And while I was looking at a shelf of small candles, I heard a woman say, "This smell reminds me of when I was a child."
Oh, wow. Scent memories are powerful.
Exactly. And suddenly my memories started flowing in too. I remembered my mom lighting a candle every night during dinner, one tiny flame, but it made everything feel safe.
That's so gentle.
So I bought a candle for her, a simple one. But while paying, I felt something warm in my chest, like I was giving her a piece of our past.
See, that's what I love about gifts. It's never the price, it's the feeling inside it.
Exactly. Listeners, when you talk about gifts in English, you can say, "I'm looking for something meaningful," or "I want to give something from the heart."
I use that second one a lot because I'm terrible at choosing gifts. One time I bought my dad a pen, and he said, "Are you telling me to work more?"
Oh, poor Paul.
Hey, at least I tried. But talking about your candle memory, it made me think of my own childhood.
Oh, what memory came to you?
Running around the garden with my cousins, we used to catch fireflies in jars. We never kept them, we just wanted to see them glow for a moment.
That's such a peaceful image.
It is. And one night, my cousin whispered, "Do you think memories glow inside us like fireflies?"
That's so poetic.
He didn't know it was poetic. He was 6. He probably just liked glowing things.
Still, it's beautiful and true. Memories really do glow inside us, especially childhood ones.
What's a childhood memory you treasure, Emily?
My mom and I used to bake cookies on Saturday afternoons. She'd let me decorate them. My cookies always looked terrible, crooked icing, messy colors, but she always said, "These are perfect because you made them."
That's the kind of sentence that stays with you forever.
Exactly. And I think that's why family traditions matter. They build quiet memories you don't realize are important until you're grown up.
Speaking of traditions, what special days does your family celebrate?
Oh, many. But my favorite is our no-phone dinner on New Year's Eve. It's the one night we all sit together, talk, laugh, and eat slowly. No distractions, just humans being humans.
I love that. My family has a tradition too. Every holiday, we play the same old board game. It's missing pieces, the box is broken, the rules don't even make sense anymore.
But it's yours.
Exactly. That messy, half-broken game holds 20 years of laughter.
You know, I think traditions work like emotional glue. They keep people connected even when life gets busy.
Listeners, think of one family tradition you love. A holiday, a meal, a silly habit. Say it softly to yourself. Sometimes naming a memory brings it back to life.
Exactly. And speaking of memories coming back to life, remember the rainy Sunday family dinner I mentioned earlier?
Yes, you promised to tell me what happened.
I will. But there's one more piece to the story, something I didn't understand until last week.
Oh no, the suspense again.
It connects to a moment from my childhood that I rediscovered while cleaning my drawer.
You found something in your drawer?
Yes, and it changed the meaning of that dinner.
Completely? Okay, now you have to continue in the next part.
I will, because some family moments only make sense when you look back.
All right, Emily. You told me that rainy family dinner meant something special, and then you found something in your drawer. You can't leave us hanging anymore.
Okay, so here's what happened. That rainy Sunday, we were all sitting at the table. My mom, dad, my brother, and me. Nothing dramatic, just soup, warm bread, soft conversation.
Sounds peaceful.
It was, but halfway through dinner, my dad suddenly said, "Let's take a picture."
Your dad said that?
Not your mom?
Exactly. My mom is usually the picture person, but he insisted. He even stood up, adjusted the light, and said, "Come on, this moment won't happen again."
Wow, that feels meaningful.
At the time, I didn't understand it. I just smiled, took the picture, and continued eating. But last week, when I was cleaning my drawer, I found an old letter from him.
A letter?
Yes, a letter he wrote when I moved out years ago. In the letter, he said, "When you grow up, the house gets quieter, so I try to catch small moments before they disappear."
Emily, that's beautiful and heartbreaking.
I know. And suddenly I understood why he wanted that picture, why he wanted to catch the moment. It wasn't just a photo, it was his way of holding us close, even as life kept moving.
That's the thing about family, isn't it? They don't always say, I love you, directly, but they show it in their own quiet ways.
Exactly. Some families show love with words, some with hugs, some with soup on a rainy evening, some with a simple picture.
Listeners, think about it for a moment. What's one small way your family shows love? It might be invisible until you look closely.
And here's another encouragement. It's not measured by how often you talk, it's measured by how real it feels when you do.
That's comforting. Because last week I called my mom for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, and she said, this 5 minutes made my day.
See? Love doesn't need hours, just presence.
Emily, I think this episode taught me something. Family doesn't need to be perfect. You don't need deep conversations every day. Sometimes just showing up is enough.
Exactly. Show up in small ways. Show up when it matters. Show up even if you're tired. Because family, the people who truly care, they don't count the minutes. They feel the moments.
Listeners, try saying this aloud. I can show love in small ways. It's a simple sentence, but a powerful one.
And here's another one. I'm grateful for my family moments, even if they're messy, even if they're imperfect, even if they're rare.
Especially when they're rare.
Emily, do you remember your uncle at the train station?
Yeah.
That was a family moment too. Unexpected, short, but warm enough to stay with you.
You're right. I didn't realize it then, but now I do.
And listeners, remember the candle I bought for my mom? When I gave it to her, she smiled and said, "This smells like when you were little."
That must have felt emotional.
It did. It felt like the whole room softened for a second, like time paused and let us breathe together.
Emily, I think that's what family really is. A place where time slows down long enough for love to be seen.
Yes, family moments remind us you're not alone in this world. Even if life gets busy, even if distance grows, even if things change, your memories stay with you.
And they glow like fireflies in a jar.
Exactly like that.
Listeners, before we close, let's review a few simple sentences you can use to talk about family. I'm close to my family. We get along well. I visited my relatives last weekend. We had a family dinner. I shared a memory with my parents.
And here's our final encouragement. Even one small message to a family member today, a call, a text, a photo, can make a difference.
If you enjoyed this warm conversation, don't forget to subscribe for more cozy English stories with us.
And tell us in the comments, what's one family moment you treasure?
We'd love to read your stories.
Take care, everyone, and remember, small moments hold big love.
See you in the next episode, and keep your heart open.